What's up? What's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in for Destined for Greatness Podcast. I am your host, Devin Woods, and today we got a special guest, but I'm going to let y'all have some time to come up in here. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to jam out to some of my man, Chip Dixon. Yeah. Shout out, man.
Said you try all the time,
but you just wind up giving up.
say your job's on the line.
Every time you looking up,
No
Happy New Year.
time to breathe.
seems like
Thank you for
everything
tuning
around
in.
you crumbling up.
Said you don't know what to do. It's like everything around you's crumbling up. Yeah, seems like everyone always tries to push you back to the back of the bus. Like all the people around, like all the people around you got their foot stomped down on your neck. Stomped down, yeah. And that's alright because there's one thing that you should know. Just before you give up on life, yeah. Everything go if God be for you.
Hey,
Who can be?
what's going on, Michael? We got Mr. Royale in the building.
Oh, yeah. God be for you. Who can be against you?
Yes, sir.
Against you.
Oh, yeah, I went and voted too. Y'all see that? Yeah.
Okay, check this out.
You say all my so-called friends are turning on me.
Hey,
Look around, your family's nowhere to be seen.
y'all feel this?
Everybody else seems to be helping each other, but what about me? Yeah, woo-woo. I can understand cause I've been there before.
Hey.
Where it seems like everyone
Yes, sir. You're rocking with Woods, man. Let's go.
Back to the back of the bus. Like all the people around you got their foot stomped down on you. Stomped down on you. And that's alright because there's one thing that you should know.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Happy New Year.
And let everything go.
Uh-oh, what up, family? I see you in the building.
Yeah, can be against. Can be against you. If God be for you.
What is up? What is up? Let's talk. Y'all ready? I have a special one for y'all today. Today, as my guest, I have a brother that I grew up with, you know what I'm saying? We was on opposite sides of our little school beef, but it all turned out to be love and beautiful at the end. You know, he still know that it's Deuce over Central, but we ain't gonna go there. But first of all, this young man right here is somebody very, very special, very informational. He's the author of Health and Wealth 101, certified Eric Thomas public speaker, financial empowerment coach. He's originally from Lansing, Michigan. High, stand up another one. Graduated from the Jackson State University, HBCU. Let's go. Y'all know, let's go. His quote to live by is, there is no growth in your comfort zone, so get comfortable with the thought of being uncomfortable. And with that being said, let me bring on my special guest, Mr. Jamari Norris.
Man,
How are you doing, good brother?
man, good. Hey, I had to take a second look and be like, man, who we introducing, baby? You bring them out, don't you?
You, man. Yes, sir. Hey, man,
Yes,
you do big
sir.
things from the hometown like you're doing, man. I got to introduce you the
Man.
correct way.
Man, I appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure. I've been seeing you doing big things, man, doing your show, and I'm just glad that you reached out to me, man, so we can make this happen.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Like I say, every show, nobody can introduce themselves like themselves. So for those that do not know you, please introduce yourself, sir.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Jamari Norris, originally from Lansing, Michigan. Like I said, I grew up, you know what I'm saying, with D Wood, you know, Central representing, you know what it
you
is.
actually put, you did me like that.
Hey, the
Okay.
throwback classic. You know,
Okay,
if
you
got
did me like that.
If you got the yearbook, you know what it is. So, grew up in Michigan, man, and had a fantastic time, you know, in my childhood, raised by a single parent, and ended up coming down to Jackson, Mississippi to attend Jackson State University, the I love, and graduated from there and ended up staying in the South because I didn't want to go back to the snow. And, as I graduated and kind of got into the workforce, you know, it was just kind of an experience to me to kind of see the difference between the Jackson area and the suburban area. And And one thing I noticed is that it was just, and this is in most cities, of course, your inner city isn't as built up as some of your suburbs. You know, your homes may be a little bit fancier in the suburbs. You know, brick gas stations and things of that nature. School systems may be a little bit better than the inner city. And I was like,
Yeah.
why is that? You know what I mean? So, and what I come to find out was the difference was, you know, economic empowerment. And you can't have economic empowerment unless you have financial literacy. So from there on out, I was like, man, I got to figure this thing out because, you know, me understanding financial literacy and how money works is going to be the difference between me working check to check and building generational wealth. So it was like I studied everybody that I could, you know, from, you know, the Oprah Winfrey's to the Robert Kiyosaki's to the, you know, just the wealthy individuals, and tried to study and learn their habits and increase my financial literacy, because of course this stuff is not taught in schools.
No,
And you know, and if your parents weren't business owners or entrepreneurs, then you know they could only teach you exactly what they knew. So you were kind of stuck in the same cycle as everybody else, where you go to high school, go to college, you get out, you work a job, and hopefully you work for that job for 40 years and then you retire, and then you start to live your life. But I'm like, I don't want to wait that long to live my life. So I know there's got to be a gap somewhere in between this that I can fill in with some information to help me get to that goal a lot faster.
So let's start right from the top. So you graduated from Everett High School. Then you say you went straight to college. When you were in college, right? What kind of things were you involved in that sparked your interest to let you know that this is something that you were interested in getting into?
Well, man, to be honest with you, like I've always been an entrepreneur, you know, from grade school. Like in elementary, I was selling Kool-Aid and sugar. You know, we had to add a mix.
I remember that. Oh, your fingers be all red. Yes,
absolutely.
sir.
You know, middle school, I was selling candy. High school, I was selling jewelry. You know what I'm saying? So I've always had that in me, that entrepreneur mindset. But in college, I remember seeing, I was in the cafeteria, and I remember watching, they just had the TV on some news station, and I saw what I know now as like the ticker symbols going across the bottom of the screen. Like, so if you're watching CNBC and what have you, you will see like these numbers with these percentages and these arrows, and they red and green going across the screen. At the time, I was like, yo, what is that? Like, I have not, like, no one's saying what that is. Like, the news is on and this is going at the bottom, but ain't nobody teaching us what that is. So, you know, as time progressed, I knew I always had it in me to be, you know, an entrepreneur, a business owner. But at the same time, I was still missing the fundamentals of financial literacy that we deal with on an everyday basis. So after graduating and after kind of digging myself out of the financial holes that most of us deal with, you know, credit cards and debt, student loan debt, and just the whole nine, just really kind of, you know, not budgeting, things of that nature, because you're just really learning this stuff on your own. Once I started to get a hold of that, I was like, it kind of became a passion of mine, and I kind of became like the go-to financial guy for like my friends and family, which was cool. But then I realized that I thought that this information was common to most people, and I come to find out very quickly that it is not.
No, it is not.
So therefore, you know, I set out to one thing I always wanted to do was speak. So, you know, that's when I linked up with Eric Thomas's company, the Game Changers, got with them, started speaking. That was like in 2017. And then I really started investing seriously in the stock market. I was already investing in real estate, but then I started investing heavily into the stock market and started learning that. And then after that, man, I started speaking, and I would go to high schools and teach these kids about just the different financial principles, and so they don't make the same mistakes that we made, teaching them how to invest in the stock market and things of that nature. And then, man, then I realized that, man, this is my calling, because I'm realizing that there is a gap between, you know, what people need to know financially and what they're being taught.
Correct.
So I was like, I need to be that filler to make sure that these individuals know what that is. Because just imagine, like, if you had graduated from high school or even college and you knew the difference, the importance of assets and liabilities, you knew how to build credit and leverage it, you know how to do a monthly budget, you knew how to own property, and you know how to invest in the real estate, bruh, Yo, you
Game changer.
game
I mean,
changer.
game changer.
By age 30, you sitting on the beach somewhere. And these are just the fundamentals. This ain't even, you ain't going to the league. You know what I'm saying? You ain't no, you ain't the next Mark Zuckerberg. I'm just talking about basic financial principles that if you stay consistent with this stuff, man, you can set yourself up for life.
All right. So being somebody like I say myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That has I don't have too much information about that. I don't have too much. I don't know how to even find out half of the information that I want to find out. So
Correct.
what are some of the what's step one that you would give somebody if they were interested in getting involved in investment? And what kind of investments do you suggest?
All right. So, like the two investments that I have rental properties, and I have real estate. Like I said, I got into real estate as soon as I graduated from college. Like I knew I was watching. I don't know if some of the viewers remember Carlton Sheets that used to come on at like 2:30 in
Yes,
the
I
morning.
do
No,
remember
no
that.
money down. I was like, no money
Yes, I
down.
remember that.
I said, man, that's perfect because I'm broke. I ain't got no money anyway, so this is gonna work out fantastic. So I got into real estate. Didn't do my homework. Really didn't know what I was doing. Buying properties way over leveraged. You know what I'm saying, and basically breaking even, or sometimes even coming out of pocket. And then later on, I got into real estate. Later on, I got into the stock market. But the first thing I would tell people when it comes to, because I prefer as a beginning investor, I think that the stock market should be your first thing, just because
Okay.
it's so passive. Now, by all means, you know what I'm saying, definitely get you some property because ownership is key. But the investment game, as far as the stock market, is very, very passive. With the real estate, there's a little bit of sweat equity involved. So I think that your first investment should be in the stock market because I think it's just an
Okay.
easier path to transition into other investments.
Okay, so when you say the stock market, once again, I'm coming from a place of ignorance. I'm coming from a place of ignorance of not knowing, right?
Correct.
I ain't gonna lie. I even played with it on my Cash App, man. You can even buy a little bit of stuff on your Cash App. That's how I even learned. That's how I began to learn. And from
Correct.
there, my interest peaked. So if somebody says, I have some money right now, I want to invest, what avenue do they have to take to invest
right.
their money?
Absolutely. So the first thing that you want to do is open a brokerage account. All right.
Brokerage account.
So let me break down what a brokerage account is. So a brokerage account is a place that you set up an account with so that you can purchase stocks or purchase companies. So think about it like a bank. So a physical bank is a physical establishment, and in that bank you can set up a checking account, a savings account, a CD, things of that nature. In a brokerage account, you can buy companies, you can set up an IRA, you can, that's your investment platform. So different brokerage accounts, it's plenty of them out there. You got Robinhood, which is a very popular one. You got Webull, like it's a lot of apps. You have your more traditional or your full service brokerage accounts is what I call. You got E-Trade, you got TD Ameritrade, you got Fidelity, Scotch Trade. Those are what you call
Take notes.
full service brokerage accounts. And the reason why they call it full service, because like with Robinhood, it's just the app. So if you got like questions and things of that nature, there's no one that you can call, and there's no website. It's just the app. So I use TD Ameritrade. So with them, they have the app, they have the online, and they have 24-hour customer service. Because when
Can you say the name of that one more time?
TD Ameritrade. And this is no plug. Like I said, I'm not saying that TD Ameritrade is better than any one the other ones. It's just that that's what I've been using for the last 4 years, and it's been working for me. So when I first started, I knew that I was kind of green and I was going to have a lot of questions. So, I went ahead and so I called them a lot, just asking the dumbest questions I could. Like, dude, where do I find my account number on the screen? Or where do I look up, like, where do I type in the ticker symbol? Just so I can get myself familiar with it. So the first step is opening up that brokerage account. The next step is when it comes to learning what type of companies to buy, I always tell people, start with what you know and what you use. Like, don't go off the hunch and what people, oh, well, I think this is going to go up, or you should invest in this. No, you need to know exactly what you're investing in. Like, you need to know, how they make money and things of that nature. So I'll give you an example. Like, if you, for instance, Coca-Cola. So I'm just going to ask you, how does Coca-Cola make money?
Sales and the vending machines and in the stores and everywhere. Coca-Cola is everywhere.
But what do they sell?
Beverages.
So soda, yeah. Let's keep it simple, man. This ain't rocket.
Yeah.
Ain't giving you no
Okay.
trick question.
I got you.
No, real simple. They sell soda. All right.
Yeah.
So you know what they sell. More than likely, you probably had a Coke in your lifetime, so you
Correct.
know how they make money.
Yes,
So,
sir.
and then from there on out, then it goes into a little bit deeper. You want to look at the financials. You want to look at who's holding the company. You want to look at have they increased their revenue over the last 3 to 5 years, and you want to see if it's an uptrend. So it's a couple of things that go a little bit further in that, and that's stuff that I break down, of course, in the book and in my coaching and things of that nature, because I know that probably
Yes, sir.
went over some folks' heads, but I'm just letting you know, like.
But that's the reason why I had you on, so you can, if things are going over their head, that's how they can refer back, is by purchasing the book.
Absolutely.
Well, all right, what's the plug? What's the name of the book?
The book is called Healthy Wealth 101. And I wrote this book with the intention, because like I said, I was speaking in the schools. So I wrote the book. It's kind of a workbook style. So it's all the stuff you need and none of the stuff that you don't. So the things that I cover in there is how to adopt a wealthy mindset, because everything starts with the mindset. You know what I'm saying? Whether you think you can or you can't, you absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you. So that's why I say, you got to get uncomfortable. You got to get comfortable with the thought of being uncomfortable, because there's no growth in your comfort zone. So the only way, the difference between where you are and your goals is the person that you're going to have to become rather. And you're going to have to become somebody else through getting uncomfortable and making that change. So anyway, tackling that mindset, helping you understand assets and liabilities, helping you with personal money management as far as budgeting and things of that nature, understanding how to build and how to leverage credit, entrepreneurship, and then stock investing is what I cover in the book. So it's a real good, easy introduction. Like I said, I wrote it with a high schooler in mind, so anybody can get this information and retain it. So that's that, and they can get that on my website, JamariNorris.com.
JamariNorris.com. So now we're speaking into it. So now we're getting going, right?
Yeah,
we're investing. I want to segue this into a part, since we have thank you everybody for tuning in for Destined for Greatness, our podcast for sure, with my special guest, Jamari Norris. At this point, I'm about to go into a short film of yours that you have of just explaining to people, this is what he does. Follow him on Facebook, and this is what he does on a daily. Check him out. And what are you discussing in this one? Isn't this one you're talking about the generational wealth?
Yeah, so I did a 3-video part series on the difference between 401ks and individual stock investing. There is a difference, and a lot of people don't understand the difference. So I break down the difference so that you have a complete understanding of what you could be missing out on if you're not managing your own money.
All right, here we are. We're gonna go right into it.
What's going on? It's your boy Jamari Norris, aka Mr. Health and Wealth. And today we're going to talk about how to build generational wealth by investing in the stock market. I'm going to give you the blueprint. This is part 3 and the final video of this series. So I'm going to give you the whole shebang bang, how to do it. Before we get started, this video is brought to you by Complete Inspections. Listen, if you're going to buy a house, buy a property, you got to make sure you get your home inspection. And if you're going to get your home inspection, you got to use Complete Inspection. So, man, this company is ran by the most fabulous combo power couple, CEO, CFO, Tyrone Haggard and Delonda Haggard. They certified and licensed to the highest level of certification. You can't get no better than these folks right here. All right. So before you spend all that money on that property, you need to call Complete Inspections, because they're going to check every brick, every shingle. They're going to do you right. All right? Tell them I sent you. All right, so let's break this thing down. I want you to meet Kathy and Malik. So Kathy is a single mother. Malik is 11 years old. And Kathy decides that she needs to start investing so she can leave something behind for her children. So she starts off with that $1,625 and then adds $1,000 per month for 10 years, building her account to $700 $184,141. All right, so by that time, 10 years passed, Malik is grown now. So what she does for Malik is she takes $120,000 and buys him a starter home so he doesn't have a mortgage, and she gives him $100,000 to start his own brokerage account. Now, don't feel sorry for Kathy because she still has over $500,000 left in her account, and she can continue investing as she's done thus far. So Malik takes that $100,000 in his brokerage account, does the same thing that his mom taught him how to do, 30% compound interest over 10 years, and turns that account into $1.9 million. All right, now in the process of that 10 years, he meets Sabrina. He's feeling Sabrina, he puts a ring on it, they have 2 kids. Malik decides that, hey, I want to do the same thing that my mom did for me, I'm gonna do it for my kids. So they take their $1.9 million, because you know they married, right? And they put $200,000 in each kid's brokerage account, and starts to do the same exact thing that Malik's mother taught him to do. By the time that they turn 21, each kid has $3.8 million in each one of their accounts. All right, so this is what Malik does. He takes $800K of each one of their money, buys them a car, a house, $100K in savings, and then he starts their own brokerage account with $400,000 apiece. He shows them the game, shows them to do exactly what he did, because that's what his mother taught him, and they do the same thing, and in 10 years, they take that $400K, 30% compound interest for 10 years, and turns it into $7.7 million. Now, he keeps behind $3 million of their money and does that for his grandchildren. All right. Now, at that point, everybody eating. No one has to struggle. Everybody is starting a life of abundance and building generational wealth. And that's how you build a legacy, through investing in the stock market. I like that point.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was wonderful, man. Thank you so much, man, for allowing me to share that. I wanted to share that for a reason. It was very important to get that information across because it's generational. It's not just about us. It's about what we can leave on to our children. So if I could I have you expand a little bit more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you notice, man, I tried to take a scenario that was kind of similar to my own. Like I said, raised by a single parent, and her making the choice to say, hey, I want something better for my children. You know what I mean? And I did the 10-year span because obviously you can do this as soon as your baby come out the womb, but I just wanted to do a 10-year span because I think that's a reasonable amount of time to start this process. Of course, you can go longer, but if you notice that's with what Kathy did, she took care of 4 generations. So it was her son Malik, his 2 children, and he did it for his grandchildren. So 4 generations of creating generational wealth by sharing the same tactics and same information, and now it's just like it's off to the moon. Like I said, think about it. Like his kids graduated, and they both had $3 million apiece. All right. He took 3.8 million and he took 800, set them up. Just that alone, just the fact that you start your life with no car note and no mortgage, that
you know
right
what
there,
difference? You know what difference that can make?
It's we ain't even added the brokerage account that he set up for him, but just that in itself, because most people's largest expense is their mortgage. But the reason why I wanted to compare that difference, and if you didn't see the 2 videos prior, I was making the comparison of a 401k and an individual brokerage account, because there's a major difference. The major thing is that with a 401k, the max you can put in is $19,500 per year. Now you may get a match with the company, and that's cool, but the max you can put in is $19,500 a year. Now, generally with a 401k, it's being managed by somebody else. You're generally managing in group mutual funds, which are basically stock bundles. And on average, if you're lucky, you're gonna get 10%. All right. Now, if you do 10% in your mutual fund, you are doing a stellar job. But it's levels to this. It's levels to this. So it's almost like if you put your money in the bank, you're gonna get what, 0.1% if you lucky, which is a waste of time because average inflation is 3% a year. So you're not even beating inflation. So you losing money by just putting it in your bank. So now the 401k comes into play. It was like, okay, well, I could do the 401k. At least I'm getting 10%, even though you got to minus that inflation at 3% and probably 1% for your mutual fund manager. But at the same time, at least you're still getting more than that. But at the same, and then another thing is you can't take that money out until you 59 and a half. I don't know about you, but I need mine when I need mine. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So, who knows? Now you could take a loan out against it and things of that nature, but the bottom line is that, you know, you're capped on what you could put in. You can't take it out until you're 59 and a half. And if you do take it out before you're 59 and a half, you're going to get a 10% penalty on top of your tax bracket. So let's map that out. So say if you're, say when you retire, you got $500,000. All right. Now, but say if you need that, you like 55 and you need that right now. So first off, you got $500,000, so that done bumped you up to the tax bracket already. So it's not about where you are. It's not about your tax bracket of where you are in your income with your job. Once you take that out, it's counted as income. So if you was making, 80 grand a year, and you just took out $500,000, now you just made $580,000 a year. Now you bumped up into the 37% tax range. And then now you're taking it out early, so now there's a 10% tax penalty. So now you at 47%. So now they done took almost half of your $500,000.
And that's what happens to almost all of our young ballers.
No. Well, this is happening this is happening with people that are trying to retire.
Yeah, that is what. Yeah, that exactly what's happening. I was actually talking to my brother about that, so that's why I'm kind of familiar. Like, I'm not going to lie, this is very informational, very, very informational. I appreciate it. Yeah. So, continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. So with the individual brokerage account, the beauty of that is, first off, there's no cap. You can put in as much as you want, and then there's a lower tax bracket, because what you got to realize is that most people complain about the taxes that they're paying out of their check. Yes. But you have to realize that the tax laws favor the business owner and investor. 90% of the tax laws favor the business owner and investor. Only 10% favor the 9-to-5 employee. Because who do you think wrote the tax laws? The business owner and an investor. Right. Correct. So they're gonna make it so it favors them. So you gotta get on that side of the, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get on that side of the playing field. It's almost like the saying goes, you know what I'm saying? Don't hate the player, hate the game. But essentially that's what you signed up for. So you gotta restructure some things. So with the investment, as long as you keep that investment for 1 year, this is what you call capital gains tax. So you got income tax from a standard 9-to-5 or salary or what have you. That's
which most people are familiar with.
Absolutely. Right? But then you have, as a business owner investor, you have capital gains tax, mainly as an investor. So you got long-term capital gains tax. And as long as you keep it for past 12 months, then you only have to pay 15% on your money. And then even if you're a business owner, if you have a business established, then I'm pretty sure we can find some write-offs to even lower that tax burden to 15%. So would you rather pay 37% or 15% or possibly none?
Wow.
So the tax game, like when you understand taxes, like that's why, you know what I'm saying, people was kind of mad at Trump because he only paid like $750, but it's like that's the game. Like Jay-Z even said, Jay-Z said, man, my accountant is so good, I'm practically living tax-free. Listen, the tax code is designed for you to take advantage of these tax laws, not loopholes, tax laws. This is law. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
And the most important thing is the percentage increase, because I had somebody comment on that exact post, and they was like, bruh, 30%. Like, where you getting that at? But because we're so ingrained in our minds that 10% is really like doing very, very well, that we can't see getting 30% or more in an investment account. And I give you an example. I mean, think about this, right? So Tesla. So I invest in Tesla, and it's crazy. I was late to the party for Tesla. I was late. I got into it right before it split. It split in August, and the price that it was at was $2,400 right before it split. If people,
I know. See, okay, let's slow down. I know what a split is, but someone else might not know what the split means.
Okay, got you. So I'm gonna go back to that, but let me finish the story just to make this point about the percentage increase. So it split. So, like I said, I got in at 2,400. Now, almost 5 months later, I'm up 60% just in 5 months on Tesla, and I came in late. Like, it was plenty of people that was in Tesla when it was 100, 200, 400, 1,000. Like, I was on the sideline, but I knew after doing my research, I was like, bruh, I already know what's going to happen when it splits. So 30% is nothing when it comes to investing in the stock market if you know what you're doing. All right. Now, let me go back to that stock split. So a stock split is when a company splits its shares into multiple shares so that it can be more affordable for the common retail investor. Yes. The retail investor is me and you. So basically, think about like with Tesla. So Tesla was $2,400. And like most average people are not going to just drop $2,400 on a piece of Tesla.
A stock, yeah,
a stock. You know what I'm saying? But if you understand what I understand, you should be running to drop $2,400 on a piece of Tesla on a Tesla stock. So it splits it down. So when they split it, it was $2,400. They did a 5-for-1 split. So then each share became 5 shares of about $425. So now this is the beautiful thing about stock splits. Generally, the price that they split from, they're gonna go back to that. Especially in Tesla's situation, because just the nature of the company that it is with electric vehicles and things of that nature, it's still pretty groundbreaking. So
yeah, I think didn't Apple recently do a split as well?
Yeah, I got an Apple too. Yeah,
I thought Apple just did a split as well.
Yeah, Apple has done I think 5 stock splits. No, I think about 5 stock splits.
They did it a few, yeah.
Yeah, they did it a few times. They did like a 10-for-1, a 7-for-1. I think this last one was a 4-for-1. Yeah, I think it was a 4-for-1. If I'm not mistaken.
That's the time to take advantage of it, guys. That's what we're trying. That's why we're emphasizing on that so much. You really have to pay attention to emphasize on when the best time to invest your money. That's what they mean. Timing is everything when it comes to investments. Correct.
Absolutely. You got to know when to get in these things, and you got to kind of keep your ear to the streets a little bit.
All right. So if somebody's interested, if somebody wanted to start and they come to you, but they wanted to go a little bit further, what direction would you give to them? Like, what books maybe do you suggest that they read, or anything of any suggestion to get somebody going in this direction to get more knowledge?
Absolutely. Like, if you just starting off, man, a great book. One of my favorites is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and also Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm just giving you kind of my book list. And the Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley is a classic. And then, of course, if you want to dive right into this thing,
there it is. I'm about to say, well, come on now, drop it on them.
I'm messing
drop
with you.
It on them.
I'm trying to give you what I got. You know what I'm saying? So you can get to what I'm getting to. But yeah, the Healthy Wealth 101 workbook is going to give you everything you need, nothing you don't, as it relates to financial literacy. Is good for you. I mean, you as a parent, you can get it. You can get it for your kids. You can start this process, because, like I said, they're not getting this at school. All right, but
I got to get that from my nephew. You know what I'm saying? I have he's in college right now. Both of my nephews and my daughters. I have that age group right now. I want to turn them on to it right now. So
Absolutely.
So what age do you think that somebody should get started investing?
Man, bruh, I think you should get started as soon as you can. So as you can open a brokerage account for anyone under the age of 18. The parent just has to basically co-sign, if you will, to open up their brokerage account. So that means that the parent has access to it. So you can start off, your child can come out the womb and you can set them up a brokerage account, and you can start.
Things we don't know.
And you can start putting that stuff in there. Absolutely. You can start putting that stuff in there. And so it's it's never too early to start. Never too early to start. Now, of course, as they get older, then you want to educate them, just kind of like what the video did. You want to school them and put them on game exactly on what they need to do and what they need to be investing in. Because, like I said, you can get a much higher rate of return. And just think if you have a child and you start investing, you set them up a brokerage account. That's my example was based on 10 years. Just imagine if you do 20 years. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. And it doesn't take much, like as far as like there's a lot of different companies to invest in. But all you need is a few of the right companies. I mean, because you can get just a few. You don't need much. You just need the right company at the right time and let that thing sit. Now here's the caveat, because I know people like money like right now. We in a microwave society, and people like, man, I need my return on my investment like tomorrow. This ain't that. So if you're trying to get money next week, no, you just need to go to work, or you need to, flip some houses or something like that. There's other investments with that. I specialize in long-term generational wealth building investing.
Yes, sir.
That's what I do. So it ain't sexy, but it's a patience game. You see what I'm saying? It's a patience. So it's like, if you're trying to lose weight, you don't get on the scale every single day. You're gonna make yourself mad. No, you research the companies, you recognize the right company to buy, you buy it, and you sit on it, and you wait, and you don't look at it no more until it's time to, pull the trigger or do something.
All right, so speaking of that, now let's get into what your actual business is, right? So what services do you provide? We definitely have the book, right? So they got that. So if somebody actually wanted to hire you for personal services, what are some of the things that you provide for them as a personal coach, finance coach?
Absolutely. So I have a group coaching program called Stock Investing 101. So for those individuals who want results right now, who want to shorten that learning curve, like my thing is I teach people how to invest successfully in the stock market, even if they've never heard of the stock market. So just to kind of give you the level of detail that I'm going into to make this as easy as possible for you. So within that program, I'm showing you how to open up a brokerage account. I'm showing you how to open up a demo account so we can start investing immediately, so you can kind of see how it goes, how to buy, how to research the companies, how to read charts, when to buy, which is important because you got a lot of people that's adopting this this FOMO, what we call fear of missing out, kind of like with Bitcoin. Everybody on Bitcoin right now because it's like 30 grand. But by the time that you hear about something on the rise, it's too late. You done missed the boat.
Yes, sir.
You need to get in when ain't nobody saying nothing. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I teach. I teach you everything, and even from a tax standpoint, you know what I'm saying? And if you need to set up a business, I can show you how to do that. That way you can, get your credit right and leverage credit to invest in the stock market. It's a lot of things, but basically I hold your hand in this 6-week program and show you from A to Z how to build generational wealth and set up your brokerage account and invest in the stock market.
Well, you have a customer here. I'm signing up. I told him earlier, I'm like, oh yeah, I ain't got time to be playing with myself no more. It's been long enough. I've wasted a lot of time avoiding something that I needed to attack. And it's a fear. What the stock market does is when you don't know it, you're fearful. Me and you were speaking earlier before we got on this call. We were still talking one-on-one. And I was like, why don't you think they teach us this in school? Why do you think this information is hoarded from us and not given to us? And what was your answer?
Yo, the first thing is they want to make it confusing. All right. They want to make it confusing. They want to provide fear, so it's very tactful. So think about this. First off, like if you watching, like I said, if you watching CNBC, kind of what I mentioned earlier, and you watching Kramer and what have you, when they throw in all these terms like, the Dow is up, 600 points, the S&P is down, it's blood in the streets, it's a red day, stock splits,
that's how they talk, and they just
company
mergers. Like, what is this?
And you looking like, it's up this percentage this day, it's on a dip, it's retracing, it's a recession, like all of that stuff is like, first off, I don't know what you're talking about. and it sounds like people losing money. So I'm straight. I'm just gonna keep my money under my mattress or my bank
Correct.
account.
And that's usually the answer.
That sounded a little too much too risky for me. And that's
Correct.
generally how it is. So what I do is I come through and I dispel all those myths as it relates to the stock market and make it so easy for you. You're gonna be like, man, I should have been doing this 10 years ago.
That's what I said to you as soon as you broke it down. When you were talking to me and breaking it down to me, I'm like, not only do I have to have you on the show, I have to be a part of it. Because you broke it down to make me feel like I was missing out on something the whole time.
Absolutely.
Like I've been cheating myself.
Correct. Yeah, it's crazy how like I said, in the school systems, like the stuff that we need on a day, like we go to school, we get all these student loans to make all this money, but yet ain't nobody teaching the basic fundamentals of credit and
Yes.
just simple stuff, man. Because I remember, like, back in the day, of course, they used to have like the credit card companies on campus, and you get that little student credit card.
Everybody had whenever you went to school, yeah.
And I had that credit card. I bought out, man. I bought the stereo system, was taking people grocery shopping, man, the whole nine. Like, it was crazy. I remember I had my Trustmark debit card, and you know what I'm saying? I probably had about maybe $10 in that boy. So I was like, man, I'm gonna go to Wendy's, you know what I'm saying, give me something to eat. And I was like, man, I'm gonna go to the store, I'm gonna get a little bit of gas, give me a candy bar. And then I started seeing that $35 hit my account with the NSF on it.
Like,
I ain't know what that was.
Yeah.
I go to the bank and I say, look, I don't know what this is, but somebody named NSF is charging $35 to my account, and they did it like twice. Like, I don't like out that double stack from Wendy's, that's mine. I went to Shell gas that, but I don't know who NSF is. They had to school me like, well, no, you didn't have the money in the account. So I was like, well, when I looked at it, when I checked my account, I was good. But of course, transaction time. You see what I'm saying? But that's because I wasn't budgeting. I wasn't keeping track of my money. I was just like, oh, some money in there, let's swipe. But that's the stuff that, like, we not teaching. You know what I'm saying? We
How do you think that we get the attention of our youth to be interested in things like this? Like, what are some of the things that you do to get the attention of the young men and women out here that need to focus on this type of information, but the distractions are so at an all-time high right now for that age bracket? So how are you keeping them focused on something that's for their future and not for right now?
Absolutely. So, like, when I go in and I teach kids, man, I just speak their lingo. So even when it comes to like investing, so like if I'm talking to you about a billionaire, I'm not going to talk to an 18-year-old about Warren Buffett. I'm gonna talk to him about Jay-Z. You see what I'm saying?
Smart.
And I'm gonna break Jay-Z down, and I'm gonna say, hey, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. That's true, but it all starts with one. You know what I'm saying? A tree can't grow branches unless they got a trunk, right? So Jay-Z, his trunk was rapping. All right. But then guess what he did? You know what I'm saying? He got the Deuces, you know what I'm saying? The Ace of Spade company. He got real estate. He got art. You know what I'm saying? He got his catalog. So it's like he branched out from mastering that one thing. You see what I'm saying? So I get their attention real quick. And then we get to throwing out them stocks. I'm like, hey, who all in here on IG? Who on Instagram? Everybody raised their hand. I'm like, bet. Guess who owns Instagram? They're looking around like, maybe one person to know. Facebook? Yeah, who's the CEO of Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg. I said, okay, so you guys are spending on average, the average teenager is spending 8 hours a day, 8 hours a day on social media between Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. All right, that's a full-time job.
That's a full day. That's a full job.
If you're spending that much time on social media, don't you think you should own it? You need to be getting a piece of that. And they're like, see, but they don't know that. But see, that's how I catch their attention, because now I'm talking about stuff they're using. I'm talking about drinks that they drinking. You know what I'm saying? Cars that they driving. Hey, look in this room. You know what I'm saying? Point something out. Let's see. Like, I'm trying to teach you to look at things with a different lens. Like, don't just watch TV to be watching TV. Like, watch TV and see, okay, what company is that? Let me see if they publicly traded.
Yeah,
before I try to go buy
it's a
something
recycling of their mind frame of how their thinking process.
The mind, yeah. Like I said, my slogan is: if you change your mind, you can change your life. Absolutely, you can change your life. And a lot of times we have to unlearn. We have to unlearn what we've been taught. We have to. Because if you don't, you're going to end up repeating the same thing. Because most of the time we get our money habits from our parents and our surroundings and things of that nature. So if you grew up with a single mother that was working 2 jobs and barely make ends meet, you thinking that's what you got to do. Okay, I gotta work 2 jobs. I gotta grind. I gotta hustle. You see what I'm saying? But if you grow up in the family where, y'all took vacations regularly, y'all, what I'm saying, they invest in, money was not an issue. You never have to suffer from lack. You like, oh, this is normal. So when I get old, I'm going to invest. I'm going to own a business. It's just normal to you. So
Correct.
You have to change the narrative of your family and make, building wealth and things of that nature, financial literacy, the new norm. I tell my students, I said, you have to decide, are you going to be the one to continue that curse of poverty for that generation, or are you going to be one to break the generational curse of poverty for the next generation? You're the gap. If you don't come from a wealthy family, then a wealthy family has to come from you.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because most 80% of millionaires in the US today are first generation. So that means they ain't getting no inheritance, they ain't getting no windfall. You know what I'm saying? They bootstrapped it up and bam, they got it. So you can't be mad because your parents ain't leave you nothing, and you can't be selfish and say, well, my kid's gonna have to figure it out because I got mine, you're gonna have to get theirs. Nah. You got to change the whole generation. You got to change the whole narrative. Actually, absolutely, from you on down. That way, the norm becomes business owner, investor. That way, when it comes to your job and your passion, now your children get to do what they want to do, not what they have to do. Because a lot of people right now are just doing what they have to do. And I'm not talking about, of course, it's the pandemic, but pre-pandemic, most people are doing what they have to do, not what they want to do. And there's a big difference.
Big difference. Man, so before I get you out, I want to go into another one of your clips. Which one do you recommend? You have the one that's the 401k problem. You have Let's Talk About Airbnb, Bitcoin. Which one would you like for me to go into? Why stocks are more valuable than cash?
Let's do the why stocks are more valuable than cash.
Yes, sir. So let me share.
And while you're doing that, I'll top my link in here at the bottom if you don't mind.
Yes, no, I want you to, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
But this is the craziest thing about Jeff Bezos. He only pays himself a salary of $81,000. He only pays himself a salary. He's been doing it since day one. $81,000, $840. Now the stock price is rough around 3,300. He has 55 million shares of stock. Stock value is 180 billion. His net worth is 190 billion. So that just goes to show you why stock is important in cash, because he only doing that salary deal just to put himself on paper so that it don't look illegal. But it doesn't matter. He doesn't need this. He just, what I'm saying? It don't even matter. Like, it's just ridiculous. So you see why stock is more important than cash, because it's the gift. Because of course, cash depreciates. Inflation, 3% a year. Your money is not going to be worth what it was, but the stock.
All right. More gems. I just had to go out with another one, man. So just wrap up a little bit. Talk about that one just a little bit before we get up out of there. That right there is fire.
Man, I just wanted to kind of give you an example and break it down to you. Like,
yes, sir.
Okay, why would the richest man in the world only be paying himself in a salary of $84,000?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that.
You know what I'm saying? But his stock portfolio is worth millions and billions. That's because cash depreciates, stocks appreciate. You see what I'm saying? And the beautiful thing about stocks, for the most part, generally, the actual stock is cheaper than the actual product itself. For instance, you can go.
Give me an example.
Absolutely. Let me give you an example. Let's take Nike, for example, and let me look it up because I don't want to misquote you. Let's take Nike. Now tell me, how much are a pair of J's?
About $125.
Now, if you
sometimes
get
more, probably sometimes more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm talking about because you want to get them retros.
They probably cost about two.
I'm 200 easy. 200
Yeah,
easy.
about two.
Now you can buy a pair of J's, and I ain't tripping. You want to get you some J's, get you some J's. But you can pay 200 or more, just depending on the model or the year, or you can buy a share of Nike stock, which is 141 right now. You see what I'm saying? That's going to appreciate. Now, I granted, because I did with this with my high school students, they be like, well, I can sell them J's. Yeah, you can. You can sell those J's. But at the same token, you could be investing in the company and you can own those J's. That's the difference. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So I just I wanted to really put that out there because I think people need to understand. And even in another point, when Jeff Bezos got divorced, his wife got like a 35 like a $35 billion.
Yeah, she's the richest woman, period.
Yeah. I think it was $35 billion. But she didn't get it in cash. She wanted it in stock. There's a difference. Yeah, that's a mindset thing. You know what I'm saying? That's a mindset thing. It's kind of like with the deal with Beyonce when she was doing the what's the recent thing she just did on Netflix? The Homecoming Boy?
Yeah. Oh yeah, on Netflix. Yes, the document. Yes.
Correct. So she took less money. And I forget the publishing company or something, but she took a deal where she wanted equity in the company that she was doing a deal with to produce that. Took less money and then filmed it. So now her investment now is worth more.
Wow.
And then at the same time, then she aired it on Netflix and made money on the back end. So Coachella, that's what it was. I'm sorry. So she performed at Coachella, took less money, got equity, and agreed to have her film it, and then later on her stock is worth more, and then she sold the viewing rights to Netflix for like millions.
Do you see how far you can go with information and knowledge? She just got put up on game. You know what I'm saying? She was around the right people to tell her how to put her money and how to do her money. I mean, that's what this is all about. Right here, what we're doing is what you just said. There's so many people that don't think like that. It's the thinking process of everything.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And everybody, I'm sharing everything with everybody right now. Here's his links. I'm going to put his other link inside the chat as well.
Yeah, so the JamariNorris.com is where you can get the book. And there's also a link to the coaching on there as well. But the work with Jay now, workwithjaynow.com is where you could schedule a session with me to see if the coaching program would be right for you.
Oh, that is beautiful. So please, is there anything else that you would like to share, my brother? How they get a hold of you? Any information? Any ads or anything? How can they get a hold of you? I got
Absolutely.
all the.
Man, you can follow me on IG at Jamari Norris. You can follow me on Facebook at Jamari Norris. That's my business page. You can link up with me on my personal page at Jay Norris. My website, JamariNorris.com. Holla at your boy. That's all I got to say. Get the book too. The main
That's
thing
what I'm talking about.
And the main thing is like you're not doing me any favors. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm being real. I'm strictly doing this because, man, I want to see our people, our generation, really just change the narrative, man. I mean, yes. I think that every issue that we face, especially as African Americans, can be solved with the right economics. And
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? I believe that. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that. So, they say, money is the root of all evil. I think being broke is the root of all evil.
Facts.
And Steve Harvey said it best, is that the best thing you can do for a broke person is not be one of them. Because if we broke, what we gonna do?
Be broke together. That's all we can do.
Correct. So yeah, man. So man, peace and blessings to everybody. I hope that what we shared today was valuable for you, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
And you definitely, man. Are you gonna come back, man? You gonna drop some more knowledge on us, man? You gonna come back?
Of course, absolutely.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Thank you. Once again for having my special guest, Mr. Jamari Norris. Check him out. Check his webpage out. Check out his book, Healthy Wealth 101. Thank you for coming on, my brother.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you having
All right,
me.
man. Talk to you in a minute. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank everybody for tuning in to Destined for Greatness podcast. This was an amazing informational show, y'all. Thank you for everybody that tuned in with their questions, that tuned in with their comments, and made the interview even that much more special. So I'll be back this week. Make sure you follow the Destined for Greatness page now. There's a Facebook page, Destined for Greatness podcast. Make sure you tune into that. I will be on again. Check us out all week next week. The lineup next week is bananas. I got some extremely important guests coming on with some of that fire for y'all again. So once again, thank everybody for tuning in. It is your boy Woods, and I'm out.